They didn't just kill her. They burned her alive. And as the flames swallowed her body, she screamed one thing. None of you will sleep again. That night, the fire died. But something else came back. Nobody in Kafra village talked about that night anymore. But everyone remembered it. Because the smell of smoke never truly left. Her name was Zuhara. A quiet, kind girl, the kind who helped elders carry water, who fed hungry children even when she had little for herself. No one had ever seen her argue, shout, or harm anyone. Which is why what happened to her made no sense. It started with a rumor. A child fell sick. Then another. And then a third. Within days, whispers began spreading through the village like poison. Witch. She's the one. They've seen her walking alone at night. It didn't matter that none of it was true. Fear doesn't need truth. It only needs a target. And Zuhara was alone. The night they came for her, the sky was unnaturally quiet. No wind. No insects. No sound. Just footsteps. Heavy. Angry. Determined. Zuhara had just blown out her candle when she heard them outside her hut. At first, she thought it was nothing. Until the door burst open. Men rushed in. Women stood behind them. Even children watched from a distance. Their faces twisted. Not with justice. With fear. And fear had turned into something worse. Hold her, someone shouted. Zuhara didn't fight at first. She didn't understand. Please, what did I do? Her voice trembled. No one answered. They dragged her outside. Tied her hands. Pushed her into the center of the village. Wood had already been stacked. Too quickly. Too prepared. This wasn't anger. This was a decision. Zuhara's heart pounded as she looked around. Faces she trusted. Faces she helped. Faces she fed. All staring at her like she was already dead. You brought sickness, an old man said coldly. No. I didn't, she whispered, shaking. But no one listened. Because by then, they didn't want the truth. They wanted someone to blame. The torch was lit. The fire crackled before it even touched her. Zuhara's breathing broke into panic. Please. I beg you. I helped you. I helped all of you. Silence. Then. The flames rose. At first, it was just heat. Then pain. Then something far worse. Her screams tore through the night, echoing beyond the village, into the forest, into the darkness that washed. But something strange happened. As the fire grew stronger, Zuhara stopped screaming. Her body trembled violently. Her head slowly lifted. And her eyes. They weren't filled with fear anymore. They were empty. Cold. Wrong. The villagers stepped back. Something about her had changed. Something unnatural. And then, through the flames, she smiled. Not in pain. Not in madness. But in certainty. A voice came out of her mouth. But it didn't sound like her. You burned the wrong woman. The fire exploded upward. The wind returned in a violent rush. Torches flickered wildly. And for a moment, everyone felt it. That feeling. Like something ancient. Had just been awakened. The flames died minutes later. Leaving behind nothing but ashes. No body. No bones. Nothing. Only silence. And a question no one dared to ask. If she was gone, then why did it feel like she was still there? Watching. Waiting. And no one in Kafra village slept that night. Because deep in the darkness, Something had already begun. The next morning, the village looked normal. People came out of their homes. Women fetched water. Children played. But no one mentioned what happened last night. Still, something felt wrong. The air was heavy. Too quiet. By afternoon, the first thing happened. The same old man who had accused Zuhara was found dead. He was lying inside his hut. No injuries. No blood. But his eyes were wide open, like he had seen something terrifying before he died. People gathered outside. No one spoke. Because everyone was thinking the same thing. This started after last night. By evening, fear began to spread. Maybe it's just his time, someone said. But deep down, nobody believed that. That night, no one slept early. Doors were locked. Fires were kept burning. And people stayed inside. Around midnight, a woman named Halima heard something outside her house. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. She froze. At first, she thought it was just her imagination. Then she heard it again. Closer this time. She moved toward the window slowly, and looked outside. Nothing. Just darkness. She sighed and turned back. Knock. She jumped. Someone was at the door. Who is it? She asked, her voice shaking. No answer. Another knock. Slower this time. Who is there? She asked again. Still silence. Her hands trembled as she stepped closer to the door. She shouldn't have opened it. But she did. The door creaked open. Outside, no one was there. Just the cold night air. She looked left. Then right. Nothing. She frowned and stepped back inside. And that's when she noticed something on the ground. Footprints. Burnt footprints. Black marks, leading into her house. Her heart dropped. Slowly, she turned around. And froze. Standing inside her house was a figure. Still. Silent. Watching her. She couldn't see the face clearly. But she knew. She knew exactly who it was. Zuhara, she whispered. The figure didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there. Then. It took one step forward. Halima screamed. The next morning. Halima was dead. Now the village was no longer in doubt. This was not normal. This was not sickness. This was something else. Something they had caused. People started whispering again. She came back. This is her. We shouldn't have done that. Fear turned into panic. No one wanted to go out alone. No one trusted the night anymore. And then someone said the one thing everyone was afraid to admit. We burned her wrong. Silence fell. Because deep down, they all knew the truth. Zuhara didn't die that night. Something else took her place. And now, it wasn't living. By the third day, the village had changed completely. No one laughed anymore. No children played outside after sunset. And no one said Zuhara's name out loud. But everyone was thinking about her. That evening, a meeting was called in the center of the village. All the elders were there. The same people who had decided to burn her. Now, their faces looked different. Not angry. Afraid. We need to stop this, one man said. How? Another replied. She's already dead. An old woman, the oldest in the village, slowly stood up. Her name was Kemi. And when she spoke, everyone listened. She is not dead, Kemi said calmly. Silence fell. What do you mean? Someone asked. Kemi looked around. You didn't just kill her, you wronged her. No one replied. You burned an innocent soul, she continued. And now that soul is not at peace. A man shook his head. So what do we do? Sit and wait for her to kill all of us? Kemi's voice became serious. No. You finish what you started. Everyone looked confused. Her body is gone, someone said. There is nothing left. Kemi slowly pointed toward the forest. That's where you made your mistake. That night, a small group of men went back to the place where they burned her. The same spot. The same ground. But it didn't look the same anymore. The soil was black. The air felt cold. Too cold. They walked carefully. No one spoke. Then one of them stopped. Look. On the ground. There were footprints. Burnt footprints. Leading deeper into the forest. One of the men stepped back. We shouldn't be here, he said. But the others followed the marks. Step by step. Deeper. Darker. Until they reached a clearing. And then they saw it. In the center of the clearing. There was something on the ground. Ash. But not just ash. It was shaped like a body. Like someone had been lying there. Recently. One man whispered, this wasn't here before. Suddenly. A cold wind blew through the trees. The fire torches flickered. And then. They heard it. A sound. Soft. Behind them. Like breathing. Slow. Heavy. They turned around. Nothing. Just darkness. Let's go, one of them said quickly. But before they could move, a voice came from the trees. Low. Calm. Familiar. You came back. Everyone froze. No one dared to speak. The voice came again. You should have left me alone. One man dropped his torch. Zuhara, please, he said weakly. Silence. Then. A shadow moved between the trees. Fast. Too fast. One of the men screamed. And then everything turned into chaos. They ran. Falling. Shouting. Not looking back. Only one of them made it out of the forest alive. He reached the village, shaking, unable to breathe. They are gone, he whispered. Something took them. That night, no one in the village slept again. Now it was clear. This wasn't just revenge. This was punishment. And it had only just begun. By the fourth day, the village was breaking. People stopped trusting each other. Some wanted to run away. Some said leaving would make it worse. And some believed this was punishment they couldn't escape. The man who survived the forest, Bashir, refused to leave his house. He kept repeating the same thing. She was there, she spoke, she's not alone. No one wanted to listen. But everyone believed him. That evening, Kemi called another meeting. This time, fewer people came. Fear had already taken control. Kemi looked at them and said, this will not stop until the truth is faced. What truth? Someone asked angrily. We already know what we did. Kemi shook her head. No. You only know what you saw. Not what really happened. Silence. What are you saying? Bashir asked. Kemi took a deep breath. The sickness, the children, it was never Zuhara. Everyone froze. What? A woman said. Kemi pointed toward one of the elders. It started in his house. All eyes turned to the man. His face went pale. My son was the first to fall sick, Kemi continued. And what did you do? The man didn't answer. You called it a curse, she said. But you knew the truth. Stop, he shouted. But it was too late. You hid the food that had gone bad, Kemi said. You fed it to your own family, and when they got sick, you blamed her. The crowd started murmuring. Anger was rising again. You lied to all of us, someone shouted. The man stepped back. I didn't know what to do, he stuttered. So you chose her, another man said. You let us kill her for your mistake. The crowd moved closer. Now the fear was turning into rage again. Enough! Kemi shouted. Everyone stopped. More anger will only make it worse, she said firmly. Then what do we do? Bashir asked. Kemi looked toward the forest. You must admit the truth, where it all began. That night, they gathered again. But this time, it wasn't to hunt. It was to confess. They went back to the same clearing. Same place. Same darkness. The air felt heavier than before. Kemi stepped forward. You called her a witch, she said loudly. No answer. You burned her without proof. The wind started moving. Stronger now. You lied, she said, looking at the elder. His voice shook. I lied. The trees began to rustle. You took an innocent life, Kemi said. And then the temperature dropped suddenly. Breath turned visible. And a voice came from the darkness. Now you speak the truth. Everyone froze. Zuhara stepped out from between the trees. Not running. Not rushing. Just walking slowly. Her face was calm. But her eyes. Empty. You remembered too late, she said. No one moved. No one spoke. Zuhara stood in front of them. Still. Silent. Watching. The elder who had lied fell to his knees. I'm sorry, he said, his voice shaking. I didn't mean for this to happen. Zuhara looked at him. No anger on her face. No emotion at all. You meant it, she said quietly. You chose me. The man started crying. Please, forgive me. Zuhara didn't respond. Instead, she looked at the rest of the villagers. One by one. You all chose silence, she said. You all watched. No one could deny it. They lowered their heads. Kemi stepped forward slowly. We accept what we did, she said. We were wrong. Zuhara's eyes moved toward her. For that, you will live, she said. A small wave of relief passed through the group. But it didn't last. Not in peace, Zuhara added. The relief disappeared instantly. The elder tried to crawl backward. But he couldn't move far. Zuhara raised her hand slightly. The wind around them grew stronger. Leaves started flying. The fire torches went out one by one. Darkness surrounded them. You took my life, she said calmly. So I will take yours. The man screamed. Please. But before he could finish, he stopped. Completely still. His body fell to the ground. Dead. Just like the others. Silence returned. Only the sound of wind remained. The villagers stood frozen. None of them dared to move. Zuhara looked at them one last time. This is not over, she said. Then she stepped back. Slowly. Into the darkness. And disappeared. The next morning, the village was quiet again. But not normal. Never normal. People stayed inside. No one spoke loudly. No one went near the forest. Days passed. Then weeks. No more deaths happened. But no one felt safe. Because sometimes, at night, people still heard footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Outside their homes. And sometimes, if they looked out into the darkness, they saw a figure standing far away. Watching. Waiting. Not attacking. Not leaving. Just reminding them what they had done and what they had become. For weeks, nothing happened. No deaths. No screams. No attacks. But fear never left. Because every night, the footsteps returned. Slow. Dragging. Always outside. Never inside. Like something was waiting. People stopped going out after sunset. Doors stayed locked. Fire stayed lit. Even the bravest men refused to step into the dark alone. But one person couldn't take it anymore. Bashir. The same man who survived the forest. The same man who saw her up close. He hadn't slept properly since that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face. Calm. Empty. Watching. He tried to ignore it. Tried to act normal. But the footsteps, they always stopped at his door. Every night. Only his door. One night, he snapped. This ends today, he said to himself. He grabbed a torch. Opened his door. And stepped outside. The village was silent. No movement. No sound. Just darkness. And then. Footprints. Burnt footprints. Fresh. Right in front of his house. Leading away. Into the distance. Bashir followed them. Step by step. His hands shaking. But he didn't stop. Through the village. Past the last hut. Toward the forest. The same forest. The same place. Where everything began. The air grew colder with every step. The torch flickered. The wind picked up. But Bashir kept walking. Until he reached the clearing. And she was there. Standing in the center. Waiting. Zuhara. She didn't move. Didn't speak. Just watched him. Bashir swallowed hard. I came to end this, he said. His voice wasn't strong. But it didn't break. Zuhara tilted her head slightly. You can't, she said. Simple. Come. Bashir stepped closer. You're not at peace, he said. That's why you're still here. No response. You're trapped, he continued. Because of what we did. The wind grew stronger. Zuhara's eyes didn't leave him. And whose fault is that? She asked. Bashir had no answer. For a moment, there was silence. Then he spoke again. What do you want? Zuhara finally moved. One slow step forward. I want what was taken, she said. Bashir's grip tightened on the torch. That's not possible. Zuhara stopped. Then pointed at him. Bashir froze. No, he whispered. You watched, she said. You said nothing. Bashir shook his head. I was afraid. So was I, she replied. The wind howled suddenly. The torch almost went out. Bashir stepped back. You've already taken lives, he said quickly. Isn't that enough? Zuhara's face didn't change. No. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Then she raised her hand. Slowly. The ground beneath Bashir's feet felt cold. Too cold. Wait, he shouted. I'll fix it. Zuhara paused. Bashir took a deep breath. We'll tell everyone, he said. The truth. Everything. We'll make it right. Zuhara stared at him. Long. Still. Then she spoke. You think truth brings life back? Bashir had nothing to say. Because deep down, he knew the answer. No. Zuhara lowered her hand. For a second, Bashir thought it was over. That maybe, she would let him go. Then she said quietly. Justice is not forgiveness. And everything went dark. The next morning, Bashir's body was found at the edge of the forest. Lying still. Eyes wide open. Just like the others. After that, the footsteps stopped. Days passed. Then weeks. No more signs. No more fear. The village slowly returned to normal. People started going out again. Children played. Voices returned. But something had changed. Forever. No one spoke about Zuhara anymore. Not even in whispers. Because they believed it was finally over. Until one night, a child woke up and looked outside. At the far end of the village, near the trees, a figure was standing. Still. Silent. Watching. Not moving. Not leaving. And when the child blinked, it was gone. The next morning, burnt footprints were found again. This time, not leading to the forest, but deeper into the village.